I want to bring in now Steve Moore, former Trump economic advisor. Look, I know stocks go up, stocks go down. American public, they're watching this and saying 50% seems like a really big number, and they're seeing the markets react. Talk to us about the reality of this, and is there a reason not to worry?
Well, Harris, first of all, I agree with that clip you just showed a few minutes ago from my buddy Larry Kudlow, that this is the most pro-business, pro-investor president we've had in at least 40 years. And this is going to be an agenda that is going to supercharge the economy, no question. Are there bumps in the road? Yes. And you showed the massive increase in the debt. Look, Trump has inherited a god-awful mess from Joe Biden. Almost every trend was negative under Biden, especially the debt, the deficit, the illegal immigration. All of these things need fixing. And by the way, our trade imbalance increased dramatically. So I'm not the hugest fan of these tariffs, but I'll tell you, I think that these other countries, Harris, like Mexico and China and Canada, are making a big mistake, a huge mistake in thinking that they can win a kind of tit-for-tat game on this, because Trump will not relent here, and all they're doing is ruining their own economy. One other quick point, if I may. All of these countries have higher tariffs than we do. So all Trump is talking about, Harris, is leveling the playing field so we have a fair playing field for American products.
Even at 50%, I mean, I'm looking at this, and I know that seems really steep, but when you hear about the anti-American farmers, which you've heard the White House talking about from Alexandria Hoff's reporting, 250% tariffs on our dairy. I mean, they're making hand over fist. 50% sounds like a big number. 250 sounds like a crime.
It's outrageous. It's outrageous. We can't live with that. It's doing great damage to our farmers. And at the end of the day, Harris, what I'm going to predict is that Trump will prevail here because he's a winner. I would never bet against Donald Trump. And I believe what's going to happen is these other countries are going to be forced to lower their tariffs. And at the end of the day, I actually think we'll have freer but fairer trade. And I think Canada, Mexico, China, the Europeans have 3 times higher tariffs than we do, Harris. I mean, those have to come down. And I'm going to say this loud and clear one more time. If these countries think they can bully Trump, they've got it completely wrong. That's not a game they can win.
Well, and when they bully him, they bully the American people. The American people hired him. They understand enough about this process. Look, just real quickly, I'm looking at what Canada depends on from us. The list is long. Is the list long on their side? Are they giving us as much as we are giving them in terms of these tariffs? Sounds like they can't live without us with this list, at least when it comes to transportation of any kind.
Look, we're the hub of the world economy. Every country has to trade with us. Now, as I said, Harris, I'm a free trade guy. I do believe in the benefits of 2 countries trading with each other voluntarily. Makes both countries better off. But it is true that these countries have really taken advantage of the United States with very high tariffs on our agricultural products, our manufacturing products. And all Donald Trump is saying is, let's have a level playing field. I mean, Harris, who could argue against that?
All right, let's talk about what that looks like, because this is on the heels of having a tough stock market appearance yesterday anyway. There's a lot of money in the stock market, so you could break it down for us. I mean, what are we looking at 2 days in a row of this, if that's the case today?
Well, it is true that investors do not like tariffs. They don't like tariff wars. They're nervous about it. There's no question about it. Trump will prevail here. And in the end of the day, there's no question that we're going to see a booming stock market under Trump. Look what happened in his first term, Harris. We have one of the strongest stock markets ever. So this is a temporary transition. We've inherited a god-awful mess from Joe Biden. The debt and the deficit are larger than they've ever been. We've got a big correction to take place here. And I think once we get through this, one other quick thing, we've got to make the Trump tax cuts permanent. So Congress, get going on that. That will lower taxes on every business and family in America.
Well, and in some strange way, looking at this may put more impetus behind, okay, let's protect those 2017 tax cuts so people don't get hit by any kind of higher prices for even a short period of time, so that they don't get hit with that, and basically a tax increase if that doesn't pass in the budget. All right. Fox Business's Charlie Gasparino has a new piece. It's called Ignore the Stock Market, Wall Street Dealing with Painful Detox from Government Spending Addiction, which is what Steve just experienced under Biden, well, and for decades. Come on. the federal government has been addicted to spending. Here's a quote. Think of the current U.S. economy as a junkie weaning himself off of heroin, which is never easy. It's been addicted to the heroin of government spending, both monetary and fiscal, for so long that we are running $2 trillion deficits when the economy is growing nearly 3% with low unemployment, as sleepy Joe Biden spent money we didn't have. Steve.
That's absolutely true. Under Joe Biden, the only thing that kept the economy going was massive, massive trillions of spending. When COVID, right before COVID, we had about a $4 trillion budget. So that was only, what, 5 or 6 years ago. You know what our budget is today? $7 trillion. $7 trillion. We've gone from $4 to $7 trillion. What have we gotten for all that money? So we have got to drastically downsize. And what Elon Musk is doing, Harris, that is so productive is he's showing the American people, look, we don't have to cut your Social Security benefit. We don't have to cut your Medicare benefit. We don't have to, sacrifice on our national security. We can just take a chainsaw to the waste in the fraud. I mean, look at Medicaid. Medicaid is one of the largest programs. One out of every four people on Medicaid is a fraudulent user of that program. 1 out of every 4. Harris, that's costing us $100 billion a year.
And I know that the idea, and some people push back, you got to protect the people who really are legitimately there. And I know it's sometimes a sledgehammer and sometimes a scalpel with Doge, and the process is playing out before our very eyes. Steve Moore, it is great to have you on the program, always. Thanks for being with me. This is breaking news right now. A new day in Canada with a new tariff from Donald Trump, and you were here with me. Thank you.
Thank you.